These questions are designed to unfold and explain the teachings of Ramana Maharshi as set out in his original booklet, Who Am I? And Self-Inquiry. Ramana proposed the fundamental question, who am I? Who are you?
The right answer is silence. There is no answer to this question. Any answer that you get, who are you, is not the right answer. So your question is, who am I? At the body level, so far as I have the knowledge, this body has a name, Kiran. So far as at the mind level, there are a lot of labels that you acquire throughout your life, through your profession, through your acquaintance, through your relations, all recognitions that you acquire. But that is not the right answer. So I would say that who am I? The I dissolves and there is nobody there. There is no. So there is no I, there is no God. That's my answer.
So, for example, in this moment now, who is speaking?
The speaking is a happening. It is not somebody speaking. So far as you are speaking, the mind is speaking through the knowledge that we have. But at this moment now, it is happening. So there is just speaking. There is nobody who speaks. Just speaking.
Many Western seekers come to India looking for enlightenment, as if it is an experience. What is enlightenment?
Enlightenment is not an experience. It is an expression of the inner state. It is our natural state. That means it is not separate from it. Enlightenment means the total knowing, total understanding of who you are in the real sense, not through the knowledge but through the knowing. When you reach to that total unfoldment of knowing, it cannot be an experience. It is something like you wake up in the morning. It is a total unfoldment of your natural state, which is awakening. Awakening in the morning is not an experience. Awakening in the morning is the total clarity of the way it is. You see through your eyes, you listen through your ears, total clarity. That state of clarity, which I call the state of enlightenment, it is the inner awakening. So this awakening, we experience a lot of things. Like you wake up in the morning, through the awakening, you experience a lot of things. You see beautiful sky in the morning, sunrise, beautiful colorful sky. You listen to the birds, you feel this cool wind. These are the experiences, but that comes through the awakening. The inner awakening is an inner state, your natural state. Through this natural state, you experience the way it is, the way the life is, the way it is expressing, the way it is demanding, the way it is giving you the answer to response. This clarity state inside, this awakened state inside, is an enlightened state. It is not an experience. Through the state of awakening, there are a lot of experiences that people claim. Those who claim experience and connect to the awakening or enlightenment does not know it. It is not that the experience confirms your awakening or experience is awakening. Awakening is coming back home, coming back to your natural state, the natural state of pure conscious state, the clarity state. And that is what I understand as the enlightenment. And when you say that many Westerners are coming in search of enlightenment, it is the misunderstanding of the Western mind that this is a search that you can reach, you can achieve, you can become. Enlightenment is not something that you can search for. When all search ends, when you just stop, when you stay there, then something opens up from inside. The search is from the mind. Awakening, the clarity that you see, the inner state of awakening, when the mind ceases, mutation of mind. That means when the whole area of knowledge dissolves, then the clarity of the knowing is available to you. This cannot be reached through any search. That is why people are wandering around, knocking each door, that who will give me the enlightenment? As if it is something that somebody can give you. Nobody can give you the health. The doctors can help you to be free from the disease. Health is your natural state of the body. Enlightenment is the healthy state of the inner being. Health cannot be searched. You cannot search health. You can do something to the disease. The disease is covering the health. You uncover the disease and the health is there. It is like a blind person is searching for the light. How can he search for the light? He has to do something to his eyes. Not searching for the light, not fight with the darkness, but do something to the eyes which is closed because of something. If they understand and do something to open the eyes, then the light is already there. Light is already there. Enlightenment is not something that we have lost. It is our natural state. Clarity is our natural state. If you really do something in the right direction, then it is available there. When Buddha was asked, what did you get when you got enlightened? The answer was, I came to know that I never lost it. I never lost it. That means what? You are not knowing now. What is required is to understand and know what is the hindrance in getting to that clarity. What is the disease which is hindering the health? If you come in search of enlightenment without understanding what is hindering the enlightenment, your clarity, your understanding, your knowing, how can you reach to something? And that's why the meaning of enlightenment has totally misunderstood by the Western mind. Meaning of enlightenment is not something, an experience. I have seen many of the Western masters who claim themselves enlightened are claiming some kind of experience certified by their masters, getting the certificate and starting giving the satsang, a holy business. The one who is really enlightened is not there. There is nobody who can claim. There is nothing to claim. There is nowhere to go, nothing to reach, nothing to become. Then how can you claim something if you are not there? How can you claim something? Claiming, you can claim reaching Everest. You cannot claim coming back to your home. This is coming back home. Such a relaxed state. Everybody is just misunderstanding. And some few in India also, who wants to do business out of this whole hot cake of enlightenment, they want to sell this, make money out of it, and the Westerners are exploited.
Could you say something about what it is that prevents us being just in our natural state? And what is this disease that you mentioned?
Disease is that not knowing, ajnana, which is said into our ancient scriptures. What is ajnana? What is not knowing? Is not to chant that who am I, who am I, who am I, following Ramana Maharshi's misunderstanding by the people, that sitting in front. When I was there in the Ramana Maharshi ashram, I felt so pain that in the same room when Ramana used to sit on the sofa, people used to just sit in the corner in meditation and chant, who am I, who am I, who am I. Is this a matter of chanting? It's not a mantra. It's an inquiry. Very serious inquiry. So how you know it? If you understand this scientific way, how a scientist knows something, the belief system that he had, that something we accept as a truth without going into your own knowing, is the first hindrance. The first hindrance. So many things that we have accepted as truth, which is not our own knowing. And most of the religious beliefs, the spiritual beliefs, the answer people get about who am I am a Brahman, I am Paramatman, I am consciousness. This is the answer which has come through your belief. That somewhere you have read it, somewhere you have heard it. Somebody has told you this. And you accepted that I am Atman, I am Paramatman, I am Brahman, I am consciousness. I am consciousness. How can you say I am consciousness? There is no other consciousness which can say I am consciousness. See. Just this belief that we carry, and we just repeat this without understanding, has to be questioned. The scientific approach should be taken. The first hindrance is your belief system. That frozen part of your mind where you do not question. There are a lot of things that is there which is used as a reference point for understanding something the way it is. If you have a frame to understand something, then that frame is coming from that frozen part which is the reference point. We are not even aware of this fact that we are not actually seeing the way it is, but see through the frames. These frames is a hindrance to your growth.
And would you say that the basic frame is the idea that I am somebody?
All that knowledge that you have about yourself, about the answers which has been given ready-made to you, where you never question, all that has been kept inside without questioning. This part you don't question, you don't even dare to question. And this is the point which is the hindrance to your actual awakening, actual clarity. This is the thing. So it includes all. It includes all. Your knowledge about yourself, the way you recognize yourself through your opinions of the other people, that you start believing that you are that, and the answers that you have accepted without questioning, the religion, the culture, the tradition, the spirituality also. This is the hindrance, first hindrance. And this is the disease. That is where we want to start questioning.
Are there any qualifications for enlightenment? Is sadhana necessary? And if yes, what form do you suggest?
Qualifications? What qualifications? You need to be alive, that's all. That's all. Most of the time we are not. We are so dead. We are so connected to the past. We are so dead. The first requirement to be awakened, to be enlightened, is to be alive. To be alive like a child. Look at the child. To be alive like a flower. To be alive like a bird. Can you do it? How can you be alive? Unless you just totally be free from that whole dead past. Unless you are available to now, this very moment. If you connect here, then you are alive. But we do not connect here also. We are connecting from the past. We see the present through the past and dream about the future. To be alive means to be available now. To be alive means to be bubbling with life inside. With all the problems, with all the pain. There is a dance inside, there is a song inside. That is to be alive. To be spontaneous. This is the qualification. And your next question is there any sadhana? Is there any path? There is no path. All path is created by the mind. It's like flying into the sky. It's an open sky, a free sky. You have to just open your wings and just take a jump. When you fly into the sky, there is no path. There is no sadhana that you have to do it. It's your inborn gift. To be enlightened is not something reached through some sadhana. Sadhana is meant to tire up the mind. Mind, when you take a journey, you take the journey through the mind. The mind has to get so tired at certain point that it has to drop dead. All the sadhana, real sadhana, is to make you so tired physically and mentally there is nothing that takes you there, because there is nothing there. Either you realize after you get so tired that you have done so many things, you reach nowhere, that is the point where you start questioning your search itself. Then the beginning of that journey, which starts from stopping. The outer journey begins when you start walking, but the inner journey, which you call sadhana, begins when you stop there. There is no moment. Sit silently and do nothing. Just no moment there. But you are just doing sadhana. Sadhana is something which just making your mind tired, or there is another path which is attracting to the mind, is the path of a siddha, yoga. All that we talk about sadhana is the talk about the path of yoga. There you are doing something so that slowly this mind acquires lot of power. At a certain point it explodes. But then, when it explodes, it is the explosion of the power. So it becomes more powerful. If you see yogis who has lot of powers, a very strong ego, very strong mental powers, they can control the people, they can hypnotize the people, they can show so many chamatkar or the miracles. This is the attraction to the mind, and most of the people are attracted into the path of sadhana, thinking that the enlightenment will happen there. I'm sorry, they reach to some levels of powers or some siddhis, and that siddhis they misunderstand as if it is a part of enlightenment. Enlightenment is to reach to that state of the Buddha, bodha, a total understanding, a total clarity, not the yogi, not the siddha, the powers. So sadhana, if you take the path of yogi, takes you to some powers, makes you some siddha or some powerful person where you can have a lot of people as a followers, you can claim yourself somebody, some experiences, some siddhis that you have, some miracles that you can make. But so what? My question is, are you searching power or are you searching peace? Really, we all search for peace, but we land into power through this path of sadhana. If you really understand the path of peace, only is possible if you relax. And for that, I am sharing with the people since last 10 days that accept yourself as you are. Accept where you are and accept what you have. Acceptance of oneself, the way you are, finishes all spiritual journey, all sadhana. Because the sadhana you are doing because you are not happy with yourself. You are not accepting yourself as you are. You want to become somebody, you want to reach somewhere, you want to achieve something. You want to become like a Buddha, like somebody whom you have created as a goal. Then you take a path of sadhana. The beginning is accept yourself as you are. When you accept yourself as you are, what is the need of any sadhana? There is no need of any sadhana. You are as you are. In that staying within yourself, with yourself, the love starts flowing. There is no hatred inside. All sadhana begins with a hatred, with a rejection, with a non-acceptance. Otherwise you cannot do any sadhana. Accept yourself. This is the first, you may call it beginning or the first step where you are relaxed within. Just relax within. When you relax inside, with a total acceptance the way you are, then something starts opening up. Because then this mind who is a doer has no job. Otherwise, mind has spiritual job, worldly job, so many jobs that mind creates according to the goals created. The sadhana also is a mind's job. The moment you accept yourself, there is no job left for the mind. So there is no doer. This understanding that the way I am is absolutely fine, and they start living with this understanding, then automatically mind disappears, doer disappears, and the witnesser, what we call, like Ramana used to say, that on whom it is happening, on whom it is happening. It is not an answer that on whom it is happening. You start seeing it. You start seeing your mind where it is happening as a reaction. You come to that center, which is a witnessing center, which is your natural state, which you are. And then when you start living with this understanding of acceptance, automatically the unfoldment of understanding, the clarity starts happening without your sadhana. I don't encourage sadhana and I don't discourage sadhana also. It is according to the way you have built up your mind. I have gone through this whole journey of sadhana, what you call sadhana, and at certain point I got so fed up. But one has to be very, very honest that I am the same. The mind is very cunning and cheating. That it starts telling you that you are reaching somewhere, achieving something, some imaginary experiences starts happening. And you start believing that you are close to the enlightenment. Come on, tomorrow, after 1 year, you are going to get enlightened. This is all mind's game. I have gone through this, I know it. It's all mind's game. If you are honest to look inside, you are the same. Even after doing years of meditations, years of sadhana, if you are really honest and the spiritual life demands your honesty to yourself, the worldly life demands honesty to the other. The spiritual life demands honesty to yourself. Be honest to yourself that nothing has changed. Who has this courage to say that nothing has changed? You are the same. But we go with some illusion that something is changing. Something is changing. Some momentary change that you see is not a change. You take a painkiller and you get, wow, all pain disappeared. So what? The disease still survives, still there. All sadhanas are functioning like a painkiller. They give you some temporary relief. And the mind is full, and the mind is fooling you also that it is happening. Taking painkiller will fool you that the pain has gone, the disease has gone, but the cause still survives. Understand this, that you have to be absolutely clear about this. What are you searching? What are you searching? Be honest and look there. Am I relaxed? Not temporary. Real. Am I relaxed when I connect with the life? Which is the point of disturbance? Is the connection with the life outside, which creates a reaction to my mind. Am I relaxed? Look inside and see by yourself. You will find that you are not. Then I got so tired, I got so fed up that how long? How many years? How many masters that you go on changing? How many doors that you go on knocking? How many years of begging for enlightenment? Suddenly, one Sufi master woke me up. What are you searching? What do you want in this life? I said, in the end, I want happiness. I want peace. Then he said that question, why you are unhappy? Don't search for the peace. And for that, you have to stay with yourself. You have to observe, you have to watch, you have to inquire. Why I am unhappy? Why I am sick? Find out. Don't search for the health. This is how this whole sadhana. I don't say that it does not have any effect. It has its own limitations. If you are full of pain, full of frustration, full of suffering, unbearable, then you need some painkiller. You need some kind of technique or method or some medication which can relieve you from the immediate pain. But that is not the cure. That is not the cure. But if you do not understand, then you get addicted with the painkiller. Why you should do every morning meditations? For 20 years, everyone is doing meditations for 20 years. What for? If it is a cure, at certain point it has to drop out. It has to make you healthy. But it is not. Then it is becoming like an addiction, drug addiction. So you need to do some meditations to relieve yourself, but you don't understand how you acquire and how you accumulate all this shit inside. It is not necessary that you should take every night a purgative so that you flush out in the morning. But whole day you stuff so many things. Why you get so constipated? That is the question. Why our mind is full of frustration, full of tension? Understand this. So sadhana can work up to a certain point which can give you a temporary relief. But this is not a cure. And I am saying this because I have gone through it. I know it. And I have seen many of my friends gone through it. The understanding is the only remedy. Understand why you are sick, why you have frustration, why you are unhappy. Understand it. Find out the cause of the unhappiness. Then you will see that the moment you understand also the remedy. Then you are free. Then you are free. That freedom is your natural state. It is not that you have to find the freedom. What is the third part of your question?
I think I'll move on to the next question actually.
Okay.
Ramana said self-inquiry is the most direct route to realizing the self. What do you say about self-inquiry?
Inquiry means not chanting or cannot be a technique of self-inquiry. People have misunderstood Ramana's message of self-inquiry as a technique. Self-inquiry means again look back to yourself without any frames. If you look, the word inquiry is coming from the science. When a scientist inquires into any question, he keeps aside all the past answers and looks to the problem as if it is a new, fresh problem that he has to understand the problem layer by layer. This is the inquiry. Inquiry to the self. If you use this as a technique, then it becomes a monotonous way of repeating the answers and then coming to some conclusion which is already there as an answer. Slowly looking to yourself, observing yourself, observing the life around, because this self also connected to the outside life. This I, which is connected within and outside. Look there, looking, observing, with a clear look there. once you start looking, observing, then you start getting the clarity of something which is there, its own natural way. My understanding of self-inquiry is that through the inquiry, you have to observe. When you question it, you have to observe it. Anything that you are trying to understand, first observe. And then, through the observation, you start getting some knowing of it, start questioning it, start knowing and start inquiring it. Slowly, slowly, you come to the root of it. I tell my friends, observe the life outside. Look around. Because the self which is looking, just look around. When you look around, what do you see? You see the life around, the expression of life around. Then through the looking, you understand the nature of life around. You will observe and understand that the life is changing and moving. It's all changing and moving. Through your own observation, through your own inquiry, you will see this. You will also see that the life is insecure, life is uncertain, life is unknown. That also comes through your inquiry and observation. That this is the nature of life. Each encounter with life, each moment that you are meeting with life, connecting with life, the life reflects this nature. The nature of changing and moving, nature of insecurity, nature of uncertainty, nature of unknown. Through your observation and inquiry, you understand something. This is the life which I am connecting each moment. And then you observe your own mind. Then inquire there that why there is a reaction. Inquire there why there is a reaction. The mind is reacting. Observe and inquire. Go deep inside. Go deep inside this problem, that why there is a reaction. And you will understand that this is the nature of mind. Not accepting the nature of life is the nature of mind. Mind does not accept the nature of life which is changing and moving. That is why mind demands always a permanency, a stagnancy. The way it is now has to be permanent, has to be same. This is the demand from the mind. And for that, mind is trying to hold, to possess, to control, to reject. The security which is the insecurity which is the nature of life. Mind wants security. Mind demands security. Mind demands certainty. Mind demands a known future. This is the nature of mind. You will observe, you will inquire that why it is like this. Then you will understand that this is the nature. As you understand that this is the nature of life, you understand the nature of mind also. And you cannot change both. That also you understand through your inquiry and observation. And through this inquiry, you will understand that this is the way that this self has to remain into the balance. This I has to remain into the balance. How do I remain into the balance? If I fight with the mind, which is the spiritual life, if I fight with the outside life, which is the worldly life, can I change it? Can I control it? I cannot control my mind, I cannot control the life. This self, this I cannot control. Then what is the way out? To accept the way life is, to accept the way mind is. And that is what I say, accept yourself as you are. The inside mind, the way it is reacting, accept it. And the outside life, the way it is acting, accept it. And then when you accept, the balance happens. And then in that self, the result of the inquiry, there is a state which is there inside, which is the state which Ramana says, the state of silence. This is what I understand as it.
When Ramana was asked, when will the realization of the self be gained, he replied, when the world which is what is seen, has been removed. There will be realization of the self, which is the seer. What is the true understanding of the world and how to remove the world?
I already answered this question before, because the world which we see is the reflection of our own conditioned mind, and we see the world from that frame. So Ramana, when he says that, what is the word that he uses, is when the world which dissolves, that means the frame which disappears, then you see the exact truth of the reality, the self, or what is
he calls it the self. He uses the word self.
So that is reflected. So then we misunderstand this word, that there is a realization of self means something you realize. You don't realize anything. The moment this world which is giving you some kind of recognition, when it dissolves, what is remaining there is nothing there. There is no realization of self. The mirror wants to realize the emptiness, because all the time there is a reflection happening on the mirror. The reflection on the mirror is the world. And this is not going to go away, understand this. The mind which is the world inside and this reflecting outside is not going to go away. This is where I don't agree with Ramana. The reflections happening on the mirror, the reflections are not going to go, because something is going to reflect each moment into this mirror. Into this mirror. So the emptiness is not going to be revealed as a realization. Realization is awakening to this understanding. The mirror comes to that awakening of the understanding that on this emptiness, the reflection happens. And it is not the realization that I am that emptiness. There is no I separate from the emptiness. This is just awakening. Before the mirror, born out of the reflections, was given some idea or misunderstood from the idea given by some enlightened masters, as if the emptiness can be experienced when all the reflections go away. And the mirror is all the time trying to wipe out the reflections. There is no point that the mirror can wipe out the reflections, because the mirror itself has become the reflection. The moment it comes to I, it is a reflection itself. The moment it realizes the whole futility of the game, and then accepts the reflection as it is happening on the mirror, and the awakening inside happens, that I never lost it. This emptiness is me. It is not something that I lost it, and I have to remove the reflection, and then emptiness will come. This understanding dawns upon that mirror. The moment when it dawns is the moment of realization. This realization of self, that is the realization of your natural state, the way you are. But then we misunderstand that unless we remove this world, there cannot be a realization. We misunderstand this, as if the mirror misunderstands that unless the reflections goes away. Let it be there. Let it be there. There is no way that you can remove the reflection, or there is no way that you can remove the world. It is not possible. Understand this and drop the effort. Sit silently and do nothing. Just spring comes and the grass grows by itself.
This is a very important disagreement, if you like, of Ramana. It may in fact not really be a disagreement, because we don't know exactly maybe what he said about it. But what you were saying about visiting Ramana Ashram, there is a whole body of people who are in fact trying to remove the world, which in their sense means to remove the mind. And they struggle for many years with this.
It's not possible. That's what I'm saying. That it is not possible to remove the mind because the mind is not separate from the consciousness. Mind is not separate from the self. The self which is attached to this knowledge part, the past, is the mind. Is the mind. So that mind keeps the effort, survives. So if you are making an effort to drop the mind survives. Drop the effort. And how will you drop the effort? By accepting the mind itself.
This is very important. My next question actually is on this. It has been suggested that the mind must be destroyed for liberation to occur. Do you have a mind? Ramana used the term monanasa to describe the state of liberation, meaning destroyed mind. How to destroy the mind?
This is the question people are asking, how to destroy the mind. And the question is asked by the mind itself. The mind wants to destroy the mind. So even if the mind is successful in destroying the mind survives. See, this is the game of mind, understand this. This is the most misunderstood statement by the people. Mind is nothing but an illusion, it's a myth. It is something which is created by the life itself because the life demands a temporary attachment to the knowledge part, the past, where we have accumulated the knowledge. When life demands your functioning, when you want to function, when you want to respond to the life there, you need a mind, you need some support of the knowledge. So consciousness temporarily gets attached to that part of knowledge which is past and creates a temporary, which Ramesh says, functionary mind. Functionary mind is the mind created by the existence or the life itself for a temporary time to function. And for that there is a functionary ego also, which is also a demand, a necessity of the life. You cannot live without the mind and without the ego because you have to function. You have to respond. For responding, for functioning, for acting, you need a mind, you need an ego. But that has to dissolve the moment the function is going, finished. We create a permanent mind because we create a desire which is not connected to the demand of life, but which is something in the future. The life demand is now, in the present. Even the present demand creates a future. The needs, which I call the demand of the life, needs, creates a temporary, a functionary mind, a functionary ego, which is finished the moment the function is finished. But we create a permanent mind because we have a lot of dreams created, lot of goals created out of our own knowledge or the answers or the non-acceptance of the way I am. We create a lot of goals, and that goal keeps this mind survive permanently. Otherwise, if you are living moment to moment, the mind is created, a functionary mind is created, a functionary ego is created, then it is finished. And during the daytime, there are a lot of different functions life demands. I am now speaking in front of you. This is a demand from the life. To sit here and talk to you as a master. So there is a functionary mind which is the mind of a master, and there is a functionary ego, the ego of a master. But the moment this satsang is over, it has to go back. It has to dissolve. But if I sit in front of my wife and be a master there, or sit in front of my children and remain as a master, that I am a master, spiritual master, then it is a permanent ego, permanent attachment that I create. I go to my factory and sit there as a spiritual master. I have to be a boss there, a businessman there. So I have to have a business mind, a business ego. This is how life changes your functioning mind, functional ego. The characters that life demands you to play, demands accordingly the mind and the ego. But it has to go. We carry this whole mind throughout. A policeman in the corner remains a policeman in the house also. A doctor in the clinic remains a doctor in the house also. This is a permanent mind. A saint somewhere in the temple remains a saint into the house also. Why? You are not. The one who understands this is free from all the identification of these characters. He knows that I am just playing a character. This is not something that you are trying to dissolve the mind, but you are just indirectly not creating a permanent mind. You need a mind, you need an ego, and that is a must, a requirement, a necessity of the life. This is a misunderstanding that unless we dissolve the mind, then and then there is realization of self. Whole life you fight with the mind, and the mind survives, because there is no other instrument you have to fight with the mind. There is other mind. Do you have any other instrument to fight with this mind? You have the mind itself. So you create an imaginary mind which is fighting with this mind. You play a game. Whole life you just play a game. So you are trying to catch your own shadow. That's all. Mind is a shadow of consciousness.
So would you say it's the attachment to the thinking mind that has to go? The functioning mind must always remain in the necessity?
Thinking is required when the mind is there, because the mind thinks. Functioning, you need thinking also. So it is not a thinking mind has to stop, but the mind which is created which is not something connected to life now, a need, but you create a desire which is not somewhere connected to your actual requirement of life. You create, enlightenment is not a demand of life, understand this. Enlightenment is not that life demands from you. Life demands simple understanding. When you are hungry, life demands find out a food and eat. That's all. But we create a goal. Wow, I want to get enlightened. So that I will be totally, permanently free, permanently happy, permanently blissful, permanently silent. We want something permanent. The understanding tells you, makes you realize that nothing is permanent. So then the whole question of permanency, searching for the permanency, dissolves. You don't create goals which is not connected to your life. When the life demands your future planning, you plan it. But the future should not be created by the mind itself, because the mind survives. So this is where the mind, what you are talking about, is a hindrance. The permanent mind is a hindrance. But this permanent mind cannot be dropped through any effort. It can be dropped through the understanding. Then it becomes a temporary, functionary mind. That's all. I hope I'm clear.
Yeah, for me it's very clear. Yeah. I think this is a very important point you're making, because so many people spend so many years battling with the mind using different techniques, and it seems that many older masters have suggested this is a necessity, whatever their motive.
I am just giving a very joking example that you ask a dog to catch his tail, or catch the tail and keep it straight. Now look at the dog. What will happen to the dog? He will be all the time moving around, catching the tail, and even if he catch the tail and make it straight, how long? How long it can keep it? Again it's gone, and then it becomes crooked again. This is all this game that people want to play, and those who do not understand, and those who want to make business out of it, I can make people dance with this whole game. And then how many rounds you want to take? How much? See. Understand this exploitation that is happening not now, thousands of years, that we have been cheated, we have been misguided. The whole humanity has been misguided, as if that you have to capture the mind, you have to control the mind, you have to dissolve the mind. It is not possible. Understand the utility of the mind and accept it. In that acceptance, it becomes very beautiful servant, very obedient servant. which you need to live, which you need the support of that mind to survive. You need this mind, how to find the food, how to rest, for your basic necessities, basic instinctive needs of the body, and to understand what life demands in reference to the greater cause. This is not only that we live as an animal, fulfilling our basic needs, but there is a greater cause that the humanity has to respond to the life's demand. That we understand. That is very important gift from the existence, this mind. So mind as a beautiful servant is very nice, but if you make the mind a master, then it is very dangerous. Very dangerous.
What about the tendencies of the mind, vasanas? Must these be removed before self-realization can become permanent?
Same answer again. There is no effort to change the mind or to remove the mind or remove some what you call the what word you
I'm using the word tendencies of the mind.
Tendencies of the mind.
So I'm meaning, embedded structures that might come from our genes or
That's
kind
the
of
nature
condition.
of mind. How can you remove it? If you remove the tendencies of the mind is gone. But how can you remove the tendency of the mind? The desiring itself is a tendency of mind. And you are desiring to remove the tendency of mind is self a desire. So where will you land there? Do you have any other mind to destroy this mind or to change the tendency of mind? Do you have any other mind? One mind. So it's all game. It's beautiful to play game, like chasing the tail. It's a nice game. But then, at certain point, you get so tired. That's why the mind is capable of creating different games, not only one game. See, you change the techniques, you change the methods, you change the masters, you change the path. Then it is taking you to the same point. So my understanding is that don't touch the mind. Don't try to connect this mind with the self-realization. There is nothing that is connected with the mind. Mind is not an enemy. Mind is not an hindrance. Understand this. Permanent mind is definitely hindrance, but mind as it is created by the life itself is not a hindrance. Understand when it is created, accept it, and flow with it. That's all.
So just to be clear, what you're saying, permanent mind, you mean the conditioned mind, the structures of the mind?
The mind which is following the desire, which is not related to the needs of the life. The goals that the mind is following to reach, to achieve, to become, which is not demand of the life, an ordinary life. This is the permanent mind. And unfortunate part is that from the childhood, we have been given a ready-made goal where we are all running after it. The whole life, we are just after that goal and keeping this permanent mind survive. And then somebody tells you that now you do deal with the permanent mind or the mind itself and keep the goal still survive. You are still keeping the same mind. I say that look at the goal which keeps this mind survive, a permanent mind survive. What are you searching? What do you want? Question it. We are all unhappy because we are not in harmony with the life. Not because we are all unenlightened and because the mind is there we are all unhappy. Not because that. The cause is somewhere we are not in harmony with the life, the way life is functioning. We are not in harmony. That this harmony is making us unhappy. Understand how to be harmonious, that's all. The moment you understand and remain harmony, you are happy. There is the question of all running after this happiness and search for the happiness and fighting with the mind. No need. I hope I'm
At the end of his book, Self-Inquiry, Ramana says, He who is thus endowed with a mind that has become subtle and who has the experience of the self is called a Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta? Is this the state that can be called self-realized? And then Ramana goes on, and when one is immersed in the ocean of bliss and has become one with it without any differentiated existence, one is called a Vihamukta. It is the state of Vihamukta that is referred to as the transcendent Turiya. This is the final goal. Is this the state that can be called enlightenment? I guess what I'm after is whether there's any difference of self-realization and enlightenment.
All the expressions that Ramana is giving is not something which we misunderstand as if it has to be reached or it is the result of some effort. When we read this paragraph, most of the people or all the people who read this paragraph who has not reached to understand will misunderstand as if it is a description of the state which can be reached, which can be achieved, and then the question will start asking, how can I reach that state? How can I become Jivan Mukta? How can I become Jivan Mukta? Because any description of the state is misunderstood as if it is the result of some effort or to be reached or to be achieved. This is the unfortunate part of all expressions of the state. Ramana has expressed very clearly what the state is. We misunderstand as if it has to be reached, it has to be achieved. That is why your question is this the enlightenment? Your question reflects that when we reach to the enlightenment, this is the state where we get to the total freedom or Jivan Mukta or freedom from the attachments. This is a desiring mind which is misunderstanding and creating a desire to reach that state. I am saying that it is a plain description of the healthy state of your being. See, when a healthy man describes his health state, and a sick person listens to it. When a person who is seeing from his own eyes and describes what he sees, and the blind person who listens to this description, it is the same situation with us. Same situation with us. We misunderstand. See. And that is why the description of the enlightenment state by all these masters has misled these disciples. How? Because they misunderstand the description as if it is a goal. The description becomes a goal. When Osho described his enlightenment as if thousand-sun explosion, each disciple was waiting for that thousand-sun explosion to happen. I was one of them. Now, all the time into my meditation, I was waiting and closing my eyes that when this thousand-sun explodes, then some little sparks of light was seen. I was so happy that now I am coming closer. But that thousand-sun explosion is a description. And description cannot be a goal. Cannot be a goal. That is a misunderstanding. The description, what Ramana is describing about the state, Jivan Mukta or Deha Mukta, whatever he is describing, is a state which is there when that state which happens when you are with the mind and free from the mind. Freedom from the mind is a witnessing state. Understand this. You are seeing the mind. It is not the freedom that the mind disappears, but the identification that before it happened, that you were the mind, now you are seeing the mind. You are aware of the mind. That there is a mind which is there, which is having the reactions. It is like a circle which has a periphery and a center. The periphery is connected to the outer space, which is changing and moving. All the time creating some movement on the periphery, because it is so sensitive. The periphery of the consciousness is the mind, which is reflected, which is the reactions are happening on the periphery. This is the mind. But the center is the witnessing center, where you are aware of the movement that is happening on the periphery. But misunderstanding that once this periphery is totally silent, there is no movement happening on the periphery, then and then there is a permanent silence. No. Then what we are doing is we are trying to silence the periphery. And not only the periphery, we are trying to silence the wind and the sun who is making the disturbance on the periphery. The events which is creating the disturbances, which is beyond your control. You cannot control it. It is naturally happening. And you cannot control which is naturally happening on the periphery, the moment the disturbance is there. Awakening to this understanding that it is natural. It is natural. You stay into the center and watch the whole game. Just look at the periphery, which is moving and changing according to the movement and change. The reactions that is coming. If somebody is abusing me, there is going to be a reaction of anger, which is a disturbance onto my periphery. There is a joyful moment which comes, which is creating a soft moment onto my periphery. I am aware of it. I am aware of it. That awareness center is a witnessing center, and that is the freedom center. It is not freedom from something. It is freedom from that whole ignorance and identification and attachment that we had before. It is the freedom from the ignorance. We started this question with the ignorance, what is agyan. This is the ignorance that it is nature. This ignorance has brought us into the fight, into the spiritual life, a spiritual fight, in the worldly life, a worldly fight. But the fight. The fight creates a tension. The fight comes from the non-acceptance. Non-acceptance creates a fight. Fight creates a tension. And tension creates a frustration. Frustration creates a pain. Pain, when it is too much, it becomes a suffering. For us, the life is suffering. Why it is suffering? Life is not suffering. Life is nature. Full of ups and downs. It is just flowing with its own nature. Understand this, and awakening to this understanding is the freedom. That is called the Jivan Mukta. The one who is living, very much living, dancing with life, singing with life, still not attached to the life. That is called the Jivan Mukta. That is coming through the understanding, not through any spiritual practice or sadhana or chanting mantra, who am I, or reading all the scriptures or sitting at the feet of the Master and rubbing your head there. You are not going to get it. Wake up and understand. Understand where you have gone wrong.
I think this is also very important what you're saying, because, for example, Osho was talking about later on about beyond enlightenment. Shivananda, a famous traditional master, was talking of the 6 stages of enlightenment. You see, so for the Western mind, this is very confusing.
I know. See, they are describing the path which I told you about, the path of yogas, where you go step by step and go towards that point where the mind explodes. That means the mind goes to that point where this whole pain or the tension becomes unbearable. Like when you have a nightmare at the night when you are sleeping. That point when it is a nightmare, it reaches to the highest point of pain, you suddenly wake up, isn't it? So this point where it is possible that you reach to that point, the mind goes into a nightmare of all this effort, sadhana. When the sadhana becomes a nightmare, there is a possibility of some awakening there. But that again there is a possibility of going back to the sleep also. Or there is a possibility of changing the dream also. Mind is very cunning. It immediately changes the dream. It doesn't allow you to go. That's why I am telling my friends that if you still believe that the meditation can take you to that point of enlightenment, why you are doing 1 hour meditation? Sit for 24 hours. Don't get up till you get enlightened. Come on, do you have that much of thirst? Do it. If you really think that it can take you, then this nightmare comes very close by. Then meditation becomes a nightmare. Let it become a nightmare. but nobody wants it. And even when you are practicing some kind of meditation for a few years, your mind gets a little tired and you want to change the technique. But this is not okay. So let's go to some other master or other technique, other path. You change the dreams, but you don't allow that dream to become a nightmare. So this is what they are describing, these 6 bodies and all this. This is a yogic way. Shivananda was a yogi, he was a siddha. Buddha is a different person. Buddha is a very ordinary person. What you see in this world, into the spiritual market, are all siddhas. If you really want to find a Buddha, you have to go to the marketplace. You will have to find them out. The real Buddhas are hidden somewhere. The one who understands, the one who is absolutely living, alive. They are not claiming anything. They don't put a board that I am here, come to me, I will get you enlightened. $5,000, no boards. No hoardings in the German bakery. They don't have any publicity. They are very ordinary people. You will find these Buddhas sitting in these shops, working in the factories, just ordinary people. But so much living, so much alive, dancing with life. They have no complaints. It is very difficult to find out these people. Their way is in the way of hiding. They don't declare themselves. If you have the understanding to recognize these people, then you will understand them. Otherwise, no. Gurdjieff was struggling hard to find a Sufi, a real Sufi. He was searching. When he found the real Sufi, he was a taxi driver. A taxi driver, a Sufi master, whom he met first in the station, who took him to the village. And Gurdjieff was asking this taxi driver that I have come here into the village to find a Sufi master. And this fellow says, I don't know any Sufi master. In the end, again, he meets the same person who was a taxi driver. I don't know whether you know the story about Gurdjieff.
Oh, well, I know about Gurdjieff, I don't know this story.
Yeah. So he stayed in a hotel in a town. And he asked this man sitting in the counter, the owner of the hotel, that I have come here to search for a Sufi master. Can you help me out? He says, I don't know any Sufi master, but he said, somebody told me that there is a real Sufi master living in this village. Then the owner of the hotel says, we have no idea any Sufi master. Then he was wandering in the town, everywhere he was asking everyone that, can you show me somebody, I'm searching him. Nobody answered him. And one day he was so tired. And sitting in the corner. And then one old man came. What are you searching? He says, I'm searching Sufi master. He said, can I tell you? Because I could see that you are so tired of searching. This man sitting behind the counter, the owner of the hotel, is Sufi master. The one who was asking every morning, this owner of the hotel, and he is the Sufi master. And then he went to this owner, he says, this man says, you are a Sufi master. And he just laughed. He says, no Sufi master will think that I am a Sufi master. You have to search him out, you have to find him out. Then he says, if you really want to see the real Sufi master, come with me, I'll take you to my master. Then this owner of the hotel takes him to that person whom the Gurdjieff met first time in the station, was a taxi driver. And the same question he asked to the taxi driver when he entered to the town, that I have come here to search for a Sufi master. This taxi driver says, I don't know anybody. These are the ways. The real Buddhas are not. What you see is just these siddhas, these beautiful flowers. Out of these siddhas, there are a combination of Buddhas and siddhas, like Osho and Buddha. But you will not find them. They are very ordinary people. Very ordinary people. They are not bothering much about how to control mind and how to win over the mind and how to realize myself. No question at all. Who cares? When you live into that freedom state, who cares? You don't care about any enlightenment or any claim that you make. This is the way. This is the understanding of our own heritage, our own scriptures. Krishna never claimed, understand this. Krishna in his life never claimed to anyone that I am a realized one. In the end, when he spoke to Arjuna on the battlefield about Gita, then Arjuna came to know the one who was very close to him throughout his life as a friend, He did not recognize. Krishna never conducted any meditation camps in his life. Come Kauravas, I will take you to the meditation camp and change your mind. He never asked Arjuna to fight with the mind and change his mind and win over the mind. He never talked of any self-realization. This is the way our country is, our understanding is. Let these Western people understand that they have been misguided, misled and exploited. Those who are having a business, this spirituality has become a holy business. It's very painful to me.
You have a knack of answering the question before I ask it. So this question follows nicely. It appears essential to meet a guru and stay with that guru. Who is the guru? What is the guru's role? And how to recognize a true guru?
I already answered the question. Guru to me is a guide. He is a guide. The way people misunderstand this whole concept of guru is wrongly understood. The real master does not want his disciple to follow him. The real master wants his disciple to follow his own journey. You can guide him, you can help him. You can take help and guidance from the master. So they are guides. But you cannot just sit on the feet of the guide, thinking that he is going to take you to the journey to your destination point. This is an escape. This is not the truth. And the reality is, there is nothing that you can do. There is no way to go. The one who makes you understand that where do you want to go? You want to go to realize yourself? Sit with yourself. Why you wander around? Why you go after so many masters? Just sit with yourself and you will understand yourself. That is the realization of self. Why do you have to go to someone to realize? The one who guides you how to sit with yourself is the real master. We know how to go away from ourselves, but we do not know how to sit with ourselves. The one who really guides you how you can sit with yourself. This is what I say. Accept yourself. Allows you to sit with yourself. We never sit with ourselves because we never accept ourselves. You hate. The moment you are alone, you start feeling lonely. You don't like to be with yourself. You don't want to see yourself. So all the time you want to escape. But escape comes from the non-acceptance of the way you are. If you understand that you cannot change yourself, you cannot change your mind. You are the way you are. It is a beautiful, unique creation of life. There is no perfection anywhere. Then sit with yourself, total understanding of yourself, and I am the way I am, that's fine. Then the real inquiry, introspection, observation starts. There you don't need a master, you are your own master. You have to take the journey alone. You have to see your mind alone. So this is the guide who can guide you properly in the right direction. Guru is a guide, but worshipping Guru. And their gurus are having written all this praise about gurus because they want people to follow them. The real master do not want anyone to follow them. So this is what I understand.
And how to find one of those true masters who don't want anybody to follow them?
That also is a good question because, again, the problem is how to find the right master, the right guide. There is no way that you can find the right master, right guide because you don't know whether he is right or wrong. How can you know that the one whom you are meeting is the right person? How can you? So I would advise that if you really want the right person to guide you, don't search for it. Stay with your problem. Stay with your problem.
Would you say that when you stay with your problem, that in fact the master appears? So in fact, the master is
that's
finding the
promise.
student.
That's the promise, and that's what's happened in everybody's life. Those who really found the right master, it is not that they searched for it and found it. The master themselves found the disciples.
Right.
So that is the way. And not only the master, the life creates a situation where you are meeting that person and getting the right guidance. See, what you have to do is just stay with your thirst, stay with your longing, stay with your pain. Just stay with it, accept it. And then in that, you will see that there is somebody who is available always, always available. That trust we don't have. That trust the mind doesn't have. That's why the mind wants to find out the right master. And that's the promise, that's the truth, that someone is always there. Always there. Have trust, have patience. In our Sufi way we call have Shraddha, have Saburi. Saburi is patience, Shraddha is trust. Trust life. And have patience with your thirst, with your longing, with your pain. Just stay there. That's what I say.
So would you therefore say that this longing, a kind of fire, you can say, the inner fire, that longing is actually very important?
That is the root of all. Most of the time we try to find out the solution or try to escape from this pain, that longing that is there. If you have a longing, a thirst, a pain inside, and a strong feel inside that something is missing in your life, don't try to find out the answer, what are you missing? Because that is the misleading point, and you take the wrong route through the mind. If somebody is giving you an answer that what are you missing, then you are going to be misled. Stay with that state, that there is a strong feel inside that something is missing. Stay with the pain, and just stay with it. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but stay with your longing. And then you will see that you get something. But that trust, that much of patience we don't have. Mind doesn't have.
Ramana's devotees had tremendous devotion to him, and he to Arunachala. Please say something about bhakti, devotion, in this pursuit of awakening.
I don't know whether you are using the word devotee and the disciple in the same meaning. Devotee is a different state of the being. You see. So if you call Ramana's followers or Ramana's disciples as devotees, then I don't see anyone there. I see a lot of disciples there. To me, disciple means the one who deceives himself can be a disciple. You are deceiving yourself, and then you can be a disciple. But devotee is something different state. Devotee demands your devotion. Devotion not to the master. Devotion to some understanding that is being shared by the master. See, we misunderstand something as if the devotion is to the physical form of the master. That is called the one who is devoted to the physical existence of the master and goes into the service of the master is a devotee. Like a devotee to the God's devotee or devotion. That is not the right meaning. The master is a medium who is expressing some message of life, message of existence or message of God. Through him this message comes. For the person who is sitting there in front of the master, he has to take the message and follow the journey. That is what I call the guidelines from the guide. The master is a guide who gives you the message or guidelines. You follow the guidelines and message, not follow the physical form of the master. When we use this word devotee, we are using this word, the one who is totally following the Master, his physical expression or physical presence. This will not solve any problem. It will not. It will not take you anywhere. It will give you some mental consolation that you are doing something in the service of the Master. And the Masters are also not of that level who understands really that who can get the service from the disciples. They want to exploit, and the people are ready to get exploited. This is a mutual exploitation that is happening. Devotion to the message is very important than devotion to the Master. If you are devoted to the message, then there is a possible transformation which can happen in the presence of the Master. Because the Master who shares the understanding, not the technique, not the method, but something beyond technique, beyond method. Ramana was there to deliver the message of something which can wake you up. Osho was there to deliver the message which can wake you up, not to put you to sleep. And we just take again his message to go back to the sleep, lullaby. Many people have seen snoring, chanting, who am I? So it becomes a very good, beautiful lullaby. They go and snore. This is not true. It has to wake you up. Somewhere it has to touch you. But what am I doing? Where I am going? What am I searching? Then the whole effort of these masters. Krishnamurti, I don't know whether you know him. J. Krishnamurti. The last lecture that he delivered in Madras, he was 85. He was sick. Last time when he went to Madras and he met the people, in the middle of his lecture, he stopped and he started looking around. He saw the same faces again and again, listening to him. And he asked these people, don't you understand, sir? Can't you understand what I am saying? I am saying since 50 years, I see you every time sitting in front of me. Don't you understand anything what I am saying? Or am I doing a spiritual entertainment, sir? Am I doing a spiritual entertainment, sir? And started crying like a child. 50 years of moving around the world, talking to the people, delivering the message to awaken people, to make them understand something, the truth of life. Just listening, sitting in front of him. Is it an entertainment? Was Raman doing entertainment? What Osho was doing in entertainment? Was Krishnamurti was doing in entertainment? 35 years of Osho's effort. How many years Ramana did, I don't know. They were doing entertainment. One word can wake you up. One word can wake you up. We are not even available there. Just understand. Don't go after all this nonsense of following these people who are not understanding, not really understanding what it means by spirituality, what it means by enlightenment. I feel sometimes very much painful that why people, very simple thing that life wants from you, and we are so much confused with it. We are not even having the clarity of it, and we all, life just wander around, searching for the answer, searching for the truth, searching for the realization. Where will you find it? Sit with yourself. You will find inside, not somewhere outside. This is what I wanted to share.
Seekers often have curious ideas about the enlightened state. Please describe your typical day and how you perceive the world.
This is the question asked so many times. And the last time also the same question. As I don't agree with the whole experience of enlightenment. So I am not interested in describing the day or the experience people are interested in. Because I have been misled, I have been misunderstood, or I misunderstood this whole enlightenment concept. I don't want again to create a misunderstanding. I am an ordinary person, a living person, dancing with life, singing with life, with all the problems, with all the pains. More ordinary than you people are. I am not a spiritual person. I don't do any meditations or I don't do any sadhana. I am just living the way life takes me up. I am just a dry leaf. The way wind takes me up, the way it takes me down. I enjoy both. That's all. I don't bother much about what enlightenment. I don't claim myself enlightened. I don't care. It's enough to be awake. It's enough to be alive. That's all. That's all. Why to describe something which creates a misunderstanding? Each day is the day of awakening. Each moment is the moment of awakening. It's not some moment that you wake up. So forget about all this description or day that everyone wants to celebrate enlightenment. How can you celebrate enlightenment the moment you realize that every day was a possibility of awakening and enlightenment? So, today, this moment, this is possible. If you are not, forget that you are going to be awakened or enlightened next moment or next day or next year or next life. Forget about it. So any moment can be a moment of enlightenment. And the one who has understood this, for him, no moment is very important. That day when I was sleeping and then at what time I woke up? 7 o'clock. Why should I remember that 7 o'clock when I woke up? That's not a very important time for me to remember that I woke up. But those who are very important with the sleep, with the dream, then he will have the moment that 7 o'clock I woke up. Who cares? Who cares? What is important is the day where I am living, not important when I woke up. This is what I understand.
Thank you. You've given us a profound discourse on awakening. When you would meet someone with a passion for awakening, what would your short advice be?
I have already spoken on that. That short advice is understand the nature of life through your observation, through your inquiry. Understand the nature of mind through observation and inquiry without any pre-conditioned ideas or answers that you have. Look straight to the life, look straight to the mind, sit with yourself. And for sitting with yourself and to observe the life and the mind, you need to accept yourself. Accept yourself as you are. When you accept yourself as you are, in any situation, in any condition, whether you are frustrated, whether you are tense, whether you are happy, whatever way you are at this moment, say yes to it and accept it. This acceptance is not out of your cowardness or in the end when you are tired of doing something. This acceptance is from your understanding. That now you understand the nature of life. Now you understand the nature of mind and you sit with yourself. That there is no demand to change my mind and no demand to change anything outside. Accept yourself as you are. And then in that acceptance, the love starts flowing through. In that love, everything is fine. Everything is beautiful. And each moment is a celebration.
Thank you.